Gator Dave, how you doing, sir?
Well, Mike, how are you?
I'm great. It was a good week. It was a good week. Can't complain.
It was a good week, man. I mean, I'd say we did good. I did good. You did quite well. I mean, my goodness, Mike's a king. 2 weeks in a row, killing it. He, Miami Mike was 9-4, folks. My goodness, my goodness. So we're in week 11 of the regular season. That's Utopia, your number one location for all things sports betting. So please subscribe, like, and follow all the good stuff so we can keep the lights on. And yeah, check that stuff out. So Mike was 8-4 last week. Thought he had a good week then, but geez, 9-3
We
just
gotta
killed
we
it.
gotta we gotta raise the bar. 10-2. Here we come.
Yeah,
It's a
ten and
trend.
two. So that's where we're going. I'll take 8-4. I'll go one up. I'll take 8-4 in a New York minute. So Mike's accuracy, folks, is like he's like over 70% in the last 2 weeks when you combine those 2 weeks. So nice job, buddy. So boom, there are the numbers. You got
Appreciate you.
them. You're seeing them. Looking quite well, King Mike. So let's get things started there, sir. King. Why don't you start with this game you threw over the fence here, sir?
Yeah, we got
Lib-
Liberty taking on Middle Tennessee State. Um, li- Quite nice words from you, by the way, Gator Dave. I appreciate it. Liberty minus 11, over under sitting at 54 and a half. Liberty just recently lost to Kennesaw State at Kennesaw State. It was their first win of the year for Kennesaw State, and it ended Liberty's undefeated season. Um, they are now 5-2. They lost again. They let that one get to them again. Jacksonville State got them last week. I think they shake off, though, everything here. When they played Jacksonville State, it was a Wednesday night game, so it was a night just like tonight. Um, I think they shake it off. I think they get right. This is a get right spot. This spread, it's a little high, obviously sitting at double digits right now, but I'm not really too worried about it. I think Caden Salter gets back on track. Liberty's running the ball really well. They're averaging 228 on the ground. That's unbelievable. On the flip side, Middle Tennessee State has one of the worst defenses in the entire nation, giving up 192 on the ground and 461 total per game. 33 points per game scored on this defense. They're giving up almost 50% on third down conversion. I like Liberty to get back right in this game. I think they blow them out. Something to note here, Liberty only won by 7 points last year when these two teams met up. So just for the history buffs. But I still got Liberty minus 11. Dave, what do you got?
All right. Well, you had some good facts there, and you're all over it there. So Liberty at 5-2, and MTSU is only 3-6. Okay, so but the mighty Middle Tennessee State University team has won two of its last three games. Mike, they beat Kennesaw State, who Liberty couldn't even beat. Right? They beat UTEP each by only a TD. So Mike made some good points there. The defense at MTSU is hot garbage, 115th out of 133. So a couple of things are concerning. One, Liberty's only 1-6 against the spread this year. So, and they're 0-2 away. So that worries me a little bit with Mike's bet. Um, as I dig into this, Mike made the point. I made the point. Crappy defense, MTSU. They're giving up a ton of points. So we know Liberty's probably going to score points. Middle Tennessee State's quarterback's not too shabby. Nick Viatito is 63%, 2296, 10 TDs, 7 interceptions. So he's not too bad. So I think that they've got a chance to score some points in the game. So for Middle Tennessee State's last 5 home games against non-AP ranked teams have gone over the points line. 3 of Liberty's last 4 games as a road favorite over. Middle Tennessee has won 2 of their last 3 games, but they are only allowing 33 a game. So, but I'm going to say this one's going over the 54.5, Mike. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to play it safe. Just a little worried about that against the spread for Liberty. So that's where I am.
All right. And real quick in the chat, Ian said, who would ever lose to Jacksonville State? And I'm going to take the same approach in this game, Dave. Who would ever lose to Middle Tennessee State? You know what I'm saying? Like, what team out there would do that? It's atrocious.
I don't know. Is there an inside joke, an ACC team that maybe have lost to Middle Tennessee? Maybe, Mike. Is that kind of what you might be alluding to, sir? No. Okay.
No.
All right. Just checking. Mikey's right back at you there, brother. All right. Next game. We've got Navy against our friends in South Florida. Actually, they're not in South Florida. They're in mid-Florida. They're in Tampa, USF. Navy comes in the game at 6-2. USF at 4-4, and we got 57.5. Navy's favored by 3. Navy was rolling. Then they ran into a buzzsaw of Notre Dame, got waxed. They got beat by Rice last week. So they've had a rough couple of weeks, Mike. Not too good. USF comes in high on wins. They beat the powerhouse of Florida Atlantic and the mighty UAB the last 2 weeks. So they are riding high, baby. Navy's 5-3 against the spread. USF is 4-4. USF is 1-3 against the spread as a dog. But Navy, they got Blake Horvath. He's had a couple of rough games as of late. You know, we talked about that. He's got a little bit of a hand injury, but I think he's going to come back. He's rushed for 814 yards, Mike. That's a lot of yards for a quarterback. I expect him to roll this week. USF's quarterback, last name Archie. 2 TDs last week. They've got running back Joyner, 6.2 a carry. And they also have the ex-Gator Naquan Wright at 5.1 yards per carry. In this game, road team has covered the spread in 6 of South Florida's last 7 games. South Florida's failed to cover the spread in 4 of its last 5 games. Navy has a pretty high-powered offense, and I don't think they're going to lay down. Horvath will prevail. Give me the midshipman and the money line here, Mike. What say you?
I'm not mad at that pick. I'm actually going to go the over in this one. So South Florida's looked like a completely different team these last 2 games when they've made the change at quarterback. Byron Brown went down with a foot injury. He lost his job at that point to, I just want to get his name right, Bryce Archie. Brown's now healthy. It's Archie's job still. And South Florida's won 2 games in a row. They put up 44 last week against Florida Atlantic. I think they're going to be ready for this one. I think they're going to be able to put points up on Navy in this game. I think Navy is going to get theirs. They need to in order to stay in that conference championship race to potentially, be that 12th seed in the playoff. Still alive if they beat Army and they win out. However, I'm going to go the over 57 in this one. I think that there's going to be a lot of points on both sides. So give me the over here, Dave.
I like that, Mike. We got one defense ranked 66th in the midshipmen and USF at 98th. So pretty crappy. So I say, yeah, good call. Shout out in the chat again. We got Ian. We got Evelyn. We got my lovely wife, Nirvana. Scotty boy is in there. So, hey, what's up? Next game, Mike. This one's yours. Minnesota at Rutgers.
Yeah, so for me, this is just a terrible game. This is not one I'm going to watch. I have no interest in it, but I think it's a great game to bet. And the reason being, both of these teams suck. But both of these teams specialize in the trenches, specialize on the ground game, specialize into stopping the run on defense. I think it's going to be a typical Big Ten game. I'm talking 13-9, absolute snooze fest. So I'm going the under in this one, 46.5. What say you, Dave?
Yeah, I can see that, Mike. And that's why that they got that over under at 46.5. So it's definitely snooze fest, old school. Actually, not old school, just Big Ten. You know how my feelings are about them. Minnesota, a little bit better, I think, than Rutgers, Mike. You know, they're 6-3 versus 4-4. The Gophers have won 4 straight games against Illinois, decent team, Maryland, UCLA, USC, up and down. They did lose to Michigan at the end of September, but they won their last 4. So I think they're on a roll. Rutgers, just opposite, lost their last 4 to both the clowns from the West Coast, USC and UCLA. They lost to Wisconsin and Nebraska as well. Minnesota 7-1-1 against the spread. Rutgers 3-4-1. This quarterback for Minnesota, he's kind of making it happen. Just came in this year, Max Brosmer, 69%, 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Ironically, on the other side of the ball, Mike, we were talking about this earlier. The quarterback for Rutgers is the ex-quarterback that Brosner took over for at Minnesota. Kalamanis transferred from Minnesota over to Rutgers, and he's not faring well, Mike. He's only 54%, 16-50, 9-5, so not too good. So, Mike, I kind of looked at all that. I looked at Minnesota and where they've been the last 4 games. Mike, give me the Gophers to cover the 6 points. I think they win by a touchdown here at least, maybe even up near 10 points. Sir, Gophers.
All right. I like it.
All right. Next game we've got, we're going to the Big 12. We have West by God, Virginia at Cincinnati. Cincinnati is favored by 4.5 points. We got 52.5 is over under. West Virginia 4-4. Cincinnati's 5-3. Mountaineers have won 3 of the last 5 games. They beat Arizona, they beat Oklahoma State, and they beat Kansas. They have lost to the better teams in KSU and Iowa State. Bearcats have won 3 of 5. They lost by 9 last week at Colorado. They lost to Texas Tech. But they have beaten Arizona State, who I think is a pretty good team this year. They beat the up-and-down Houston, and they beat UCF. Against the spread, West Virginia's 3-5. Cincinnati's 4-3. The turning point here for me in this game is Garrett Green is likely out for this game. Granted, they had a quarterback come in, Nico Marichal. He had a decent week last week, but I don't like when those quarterbacks come in and then have to start the next week, Mike.
Where's the Gabagoo?
The Gaba. He is the Gaba. Nico the Gaba. So he is not going to fare well. I think my money's on Sorsby. Okay. 66%, 2,100 yards, 15 touchdowns. He's run for 6 TDs. I really think the Garrett Green thing's going to be an issue, and this quarterback's going to fold. I'm going to take the Bearcats to cover the 4.5 points, Mike. What do you think?
I think you are disrespecting Nico Macchio, okay? 28 for 40 on the year, 70% completion. Dating back to last year, this dude also stepped in when old Garrett Green got hurt, and he produced. He basically saved Neil Brown's season last year. He's going to do the same thing this year. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year, 1 interception, 70% completion. He can sort of run the ball if he wants to sometimes, but they got a guy named C.J. Donaldson who's an absolute hog. He is injured right now, so he is iffy for this one. I don't think it's going to matter. Cincinnati's defense is garbage. You mentioned Brendan Sorsby. He's going to get his. We like him a lot. We've talked about him numerous times on this show throughout the season. However, I think both teams get theirs. I think both teams get it often. Give me the over 52.5. I don't think it's high enough. I think they cakewalk to that over. Could be by halftime, Dave. Could be by halftime.
52 points by half, folks. You guys got it? And quit rubbing it in there, Scotty boy. 9 games back. Yeah, I hear you. All right. So, next game, we have Syracuse and Boston College. Mike, you called it. You take it. What you got?
This one for me is Boston College. The weather is going to be a factor, I think, in this one. You're looking at low 30s. High is low 50s. It's supposed to be windy, cloudy, rainy. Syracuse is a dome team, Dave. They don't want to play outside. They don't want to play outside where it's cold and it's wet. You know, playing in those games where it's physical. And they got to stop the run, which is what Boston College is going to do with Robichaux and Castellanos. All they're going to do is a dual threat run option, RPO, all day long on Syracuse. Kyle McCord is going to make mistakes. That's why he went to the Dome. He had issues. He had issues at Ohio State. He was too cold, Dave. He had to go inside. All right? He's going to have problems against BC. I think BC gets right in this one. Give me BC at home money line. What do you got?
I got the opposite there, Mike. Come on, man. Orangemen have won 4 of the last 5 games. 1 loss to Pitt, and that's because McCord stunk it up. 3 pick sixes, 5 interceptions. Let's put the game behind us, which he did, okay? Last week he took care of Virginia Tech. BC lost 3 of its last
without Kyron Drones.
3 games. Huh?
Kyron Drones
went out in the game. That's right. But it was a win, Mike. BC lost their last 3 games to Louisville, Virginia Tech. They lost to Virginia, Mike. Both these teams come in with a 4-4 ATS. McCord is a much better quarterback than Castellanos. He's thrown for 27, 61, 21 TDs. Castellanos 13, 52, 17 TDs. Mike, the offense of Syracuse ranked 39th.
Just rambling
39.
Numbers.
Boston College offense is 82nd in the nation. They stink, Mike. They're not good. They failed to cover the spread in 10 of their last 12 games. The underdog has covered the spread in each of Boston College's last 3 games at Boston. Syracuse, better team as of late. Give me Syracuse and give me those 2 points, but they'll win it outright. No problem, Mike.
What was the hand motion?
Syracuse. Here we go. Next game.
All right. Moving on. Shout out in the chat. We see you. Navosky, what up, bud? Reese. Reese is also in the chat. What's going on, Reese?
My boy Reese. Public House. Look. Whoa.
Public House.
Father Tiggy and Reese. Yeah, I know who that is. All right. We're rolling now. Just
a kid driving in a car, dude. All right, we got South Carolina minus 3.5 taking on Vandy. What you got, Dave?
Mike, this is a tough one here. This is your game, but South Carolina's getting 3.5 points here. They're favored by 3.5 over the mighty Vanderbilt Commodores. Over under 45.5. South Carolina comes in at 5-2. 5-3. Vandy's 6-3. Last week, South Carolina, if you saw it on the TV, you saw Texas A&M get their butt kicked. 24 points they got the butt kicked. Previous week, South Carolina beat the Sooners by 26. The previous week to that, they only lost to Bama by 2. South Carolina's on a roll. Mike, Vandy comes in. Now, they won 4 of their last 5 games. They only lost to Texas by 3. They beat Auburn. They beat Kentucky. They beat Bama. So Gamecocks got Sellers at running back. He's a quarterback. He's a running quarterback. Done quite well. Running the ball, throwing the ball. 61%, 7 TDs. They got Rocket Sanders tearing it up at 570 yards, 4.9 a carry, and 8 TDs. The Commodores, they've got Diego Pavia. Okay. He's not flashy, but he gets it done. And he gets it done in the air and on the ground. And they depend quite a bit on Pavia. You stop him, you stop Vandy for sure. They're not real big on scoring a lot of points. If you look at their numbers this year, just not very high scoring. South Carolina, great game against Texas A&M last week. 530 yards they threw up on them. 26 first downs. The Commodores just mustered 227 yards and 12 first downs last week, so not too hot. I'm going to take the Gamecocks here, Mike. I think they're going to continue to roll. I mean, I would love to take the, Vanderbilt Commodores, but I just think right now South Carolina's hot, and they're going to go in there and, win by a touchdown. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I like South Carolina also. I think a lot of people are going to be on the Vandy train, but I think Vandy's coming back down to earth here sooner than later. They did just beat Auburn, like you mentioned. They have a lot of big wins. They're playing and they're competing in games. They believe in themselves. They have confidence. But South Carolina is kind of a dream killer this year, or almost dream killer. I think they do kill this dream. They go to Nashville, sort of put Vandy back in their place a little bit. Give me South Carolina to get it done as well here, Dave.
All right. Well, next game in your ACC, your rival, what say you?
Yeah, so this is my cover your assets game of the week, Dave. Check out our sponsor up at the top, everybody. It's Cover Your Assets, shopcya.com. This is what it is, okay? When you go into a stadium, you got a clear plastic bag. It's got all your gooblets. It's got all your goblets. It's got all your giblets all up in this area, okay? Look, you put your pens, boom, there's pens, for example. You put your phone, boom, there's a phone. There's a phone there, all right? People can see it. In a world like tap to pay now, you don't want somebody standing in the concession stand and coming up and just boop, clearing you for some Apple Pay, all right? Make it hard on them. This is designed so that when you go through security, it's nice and clear, and you snap it on when you get into the stadium, concert, opera event, baseball game, sumo match, pizza party, wherever you take it, all right? CoverYourAssets.com. Protect yourselves. It's a crazy world out here. All right, protect yourselves. Check them out.
Do it.
They got the goods. They got colors for days, teams for days. All right, styles for days. Moving on to the pick. Clemson. The reason this is my Cover Your Assets game of the week, it's sitting at -6.5. This is a game that I would consider buying down to -6. To cover your assets. All right? Make sure you get the win with this one because Kyron Drones, we just talked about him not playing for Vatek last week in their loss against Syracuse. He is going to go against Clemson in this game. He was questionable. It looks like he's probable now, so it looks like he's going to play. Obviously, Clemson lost last week. They don't lose twice back-to-back often, except for last year when they lost to Miami, and it was pretty bad. You know what I mean? But that was last year, Dave. This is 2024, you know? Clemson's still ranked after their loss to Louisville. They have a chance still to make the ACC championship. Right now, they are out of it because Miami's still undefeated. And SMU is also still undefeated. You know what I'm saying? So this is a must-win for Clemson. I think they get it done. I just don't know by how much. I think Vatek and Kyron Drones are going to be able to find success against this team. This is basically Vatek's Super Bowl at this point for their season. They're not playing for an ACC championship. They're not playing for the playoffs. They're playing to kill somebody's dreams. At home in Blacksburg, it's going to be rocking. Beautiful fall weather. This is one that I will be watching on the old tubular television device. Give me Clemson to get the cover -6.5. But again, Just consider it, folks. Covering your assets. Okay? And maybe just take it down to 6. Maybe buy it down to 6. That's all I'm saying. Dave, what do you got?
I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm kind of with you there, Mike. I'm feeling the same thing with Clemson and it being a
You're feeling
desperado.
the assets.
I am. I am. They're desperate. They need this win. They've got the better team, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Clemson's only 4-4 against the spread, where Tech is 5-4. So Klubnik is tossing the ball around the yard quite well. 21 touchdowns. Maffa's doing his thing, 853 yards and 8 TDs. Clemson offense is ranked 9th. Virginia Tech's offense is ranked 45th. Their defenses are right around the same. One's in the 60s, one's in the 40s. I still think with Drones playing, he's not going to be as effective. He's most effective when he can run the ball as well as throw the ball, and he has a lower body injury. Don't see him run it a lot effectively. So for all those reasons, I'm on the train with Mike here. We're going to say Clemson to cover the 6.5 points. Mike, boom. Let's go to the Big 12.
Your assets, Dave. It was right there. It was right there for you.
Cover your assets. All right. So, Big 12. We're going to Colorado and Texas Tech. So, Colorado they're favored by 3.5. Over-under is 62.5, one of the highest over-unders that we've had up to this point. So Colorado comes in at 6-2, Texas Tech 6-3. Colorado's won 4 of its last 5 games. They lost to Kansas State and Nebraska. Texas Tech's won 5 of their last 7. They beat top Big 12 team Iowa State last week. They did lose to Baylor and TCU. So Colorado is 6-2 against the spread. Texas Tech 5-3-1. So they're kind of right there at that. You know, I don't have to tell you, Shadir Sanders, one of the top quarterbacks, Heisman race, blah, 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 all that good stuff. The one thing this year about Colorado, offense is ranked 40th, defense 42nd. Pretty damn good. Big jump from where they were last year in terms of defense. Morton, the quarterback for Texas Tech's had some nice games as of late. He's really turning things around. He's up to 2,300 yards, 19 TDs, and they got Taj Brooks running the ball, just absolutely killing it. Over 1,000 yards already, 10 TDs. That offense is ranked 20th in the nation. However, their defense, Mike, 120. Not a good defense. They got the Ole. So the Buffaloes coming off another good offensive outing, wins over Cincinnati. Colorado managed 446 yards, so great game. Morton for Texas Tech threw for 237 and 2 scores. Brooks carried for 122 last week. I think both these offenses are flat humming, and 62 points ain't going to hold it. Give me the over 62.5 here in this game, Mike. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I couldn't decide if I wanted to go Colorado in this one. I think Colorado does end up getting it done. Colorado's in the hunt for the Big 12 right now. A lot of people have written Colorado off. I'm not really sure why. They're sitting pretty right now. They don't really have too tough of a schedule remaining. If they win out, this Colorado team has a very, very good shot of making that Big 12 championship game and making it into the playoff for sure. For that reason, Shadur Sanders is balling. Travis Hunter, obvious, he'll be sent to New York and he'll get an invite for the final 3 for the Heisman, no doubt. He might win it. Honestly, it's kind of insane what he's doing right now. But I think both teams are able to put up points. You said it best. I think the over is the play here. But I do like Colorado to get it done. What I'm looking for, though, is that -3.5. And this could also have been a cover your assets game of the week because That -3.5, that hook of that half point, man, it can be deadly.
Mm-hmm.
It can bite
Yep.
you right where you don't want it. So this is another one to consider if you are on that Colorado side. You don't have to take a money line. If you're looking for a little bit of a payout, which honestly, depending on what you are wagering, it's really not much of a difference. In my opinion, save your bet, make the smart play. Profit is profit, whether it's a little bit smaller than what you'd make if you take just the spread. I mean, get a win. Having said that, this is just an opinion. I'm not telling you to do shit, folks. Don't hold me to none of this. All right, this is all opinionated. You can do with as you will. Okay. Colorado, Texas Tech over 62.5. Dave.
Bada bing. There
Bada
we
bing,
go.
bada boom.
Bada boom. All right. All right. You want to hit this next Big 12 game there, Mike?
I don't know. You put this on here. This thing is ugly as hell, but I will. We got Iowa State, number 17, taking on Kansas. Iowa State is only favored by 3. Kansas is 2-6. Iowa State is 7-1. Doesn't make sense. Off rip. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Why is it only 3 points? This game is being played at Arrowhead Stadium, so it's not even a true home game for Kansas. It'll be interesting to see if they fill it for this game, considering it's the top 25 matchup. That's a lot of seats to fill for the Jayhawks. Over-under sitting at 49.5. That's where I'm looking is the total in this one. I think it's going to go under. Kansas succeeds in running the ball. That's kind of their only success. Jalen Daniels has been absolutely terrible this year for them. He's the reason they are 2-6. Devin Neal, their running back, is a complete stud. He will be playing on Sundays very soon. For that reason, I do lean towards Kansas in this game, especially for Iowa State. Last week, they had that first loss. It was kind of a heartbreaking way that they lost that game because they really shouldn't have. They were their better team. I'm worried that bites them once again, and that loss becomes 2 losses. I'm going to go the under. Iowa State struggles to stop the run. But I do lean that Kansas side for that reason. It could be a live dog. It is only 3 points, but it could be something nice that you could, match up with something else. So give me the under 49.5, and I lean Kansas. What do you got, Dave?
Well, I don't lean Kansas, Mike. This one I put on there for a reason, Mike.
All right, let's hear it.
Iowa
What do you got?
State's ranked 17th in the nation, in the land, Mike, and they've only lost 1 game, and it was that slippage game last week to Texas Tech. Okay, like you said, they should have probably won that game, right? They've beaten UCF, West Virginia, Baylor, Houston, Kansas. They've beaten Houston, but they've lost a lot of games. Iowa State's 5-3 against the spread. Kansas is only 2-6. Iowa State's been pretty steady. I mean, their offense is ranked 49th, defense ranked 9th. Their quarterback, Beck, is 61%, 2,000 yards, 13 TDs. They've got 3 backs that have run for 350 to 400 yards, all averaging over 5. So that's why I feel very strongly about this offense. The Jayhawks, it just has not been their year this year. Granted, they do have Devin Neal with 758 yards and 8 TDs. But defensively, Iowa State's they've been a force to reckon with. They're only allowing about 15 points a game. Their pass defense is tough. I mean, this one to me, there's a reason why I picked this one, Mike. I really feel highly secure in picking Iowa State here. Mike, this was Iowa State and 3. So we did the money line in this. Is that what we did there, Mike?
Yeah, you did have a money line.
Iowa State in the money line. And Mike, I'm gonna call this Gator Dave lock.
All right, Gator Dave, lock of the week. We'd love to see it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, moving on here, Dave.
we got a big one here. This is a big one. It's the Holy War, Mike. The
Oh,
infamous
jeez, dude.
Holy War.
I thought we weren't gonna do that, dude. I thought we weren't gonna talk
No,
religion
we
on the
just said
show, dude. Oh man.
we're
Now,
calling
no,
it.
now you opened it. Now you opened that jar, dude. So
Right.
let's talk religion in this game, dude. Is it really a holy war between these two? You know, that's all I'm saying. All right, continue.
They
Continue.
call it that, Mike. That's
Holy war is crazy. That's all I'm saying. All right, continue.
Agreed with you. So, BYU.
Just my opinion. Remember, this is opinions, folks. This is opinions. Take it or leave it.
Opinions, and we know what opinions are. So, BYU 8-0.
We do.
Utah a paltry 4-4. Mike. BYU unbeaten. Big wins against Kansas State, SMU, UCF. Utah has lost its last 4 games, Mike, against Houston, TCU, ASU, Arizona. Ooh, Cougars are 7-1 against the spread. The Utes are 2-6. Restliff, the BYU quarterback, tossing it around 60%, 1872, and 18 touchdowns. He's run for 303 and 3 touchdowns. BYU's offense ranked 24th. Defense ranked 24th. The only thing Utah has is the 11th ranked defense, but I'm not thinking much about it. They failed to cover. Utah failed to cover the spread in 7 of its last 8 conference games. BYU, one of the strongest offenses in the nation, at 35 points a game. It's just a balanced offense and defense, Mike. And this one was easy for me here to pick the Cougs to cover the 4 points, Mike. What do you think?
I think you might be wrong in this one. You might be right. BYU's still one of those teams. They're alive in the Big 12. They're alive in the playoffs. They're top 10. I kind of lean Utah, but I'm not on Utah. I'm on the under in this one. You mentioned BYU's defense, but you didn't mention Utah's defense. And Utah's defense is actually better than BYU overall. They're only giving up 16.5 points a game right now on defense. Third down percent for offense, third down percentage conversion, 25%. That's pretty good in comparison to BYU, which is 40. Yes, Utah does not have Cam Rising anymore. That dude is, I think it's time to just be a coach, in my opinion. Again, opinions. I think the under is the play here. I think it's going to be a war. 10-15, it's going to be a night game at Utah. These teams these universities, these fans, they do not like each other. Yeah, Gator and Dave and I will be snoozing through this one. We're not going to be watching it. We'll get the highlights the next day. And again, for that reason, I also like the under. 40.5, that's a low total for college. Take it as a sign. Give me the under here, Dave.
All right, I like it, Mike. I like it. Next game, Big 10. You want me to take it or you want it? We got 2 games left.
I thought there was a glitch. You were doing the robot for a second. All right.
Oh.
I'll take this one. You can take the last one. So yeah, Michigan, Indiana. Even though this is your game, well, technically they're both your game, I guess. Indiana minus 14. Over under sitting at 49.5. Indiana is obviously the wonder child of the football season right now. Everybody's talking about him. Kurt Signetti had the interview. Google him. All he does is win. I think that's going to catch up to him at some point, is all I'm saying. Could be here. I like the over in this game. Initially, I like the under. But if Indiana does get going with Kurt Signetti and that attitude, if they roll on Michigan early at home, I mean, it could be 34, 38, 14 pretty quickly. This Michigan offense has really struggled, but their run game has gotten theirs. They got guys that can carry the rock. If Michigan gets on Indiana early in this game, I like the over. If it's the other way around and Indiana jumps on Michigan, it's the under. So maybe one to watch if you're interested in a live bet. Watch how this first quarter plays out. Maybe go from there, pick a side on how that's playing out. Because I do also like Michigan potentially plus 14 here, Dave. Because next week, you know where Indiana goes? The Horseshoe. The Horseshoe to face Ohio State.
The other
And
year.
you know what Ohio State cannot do in that game? They cannot lose because they've already lost once against Oregon. 2 losses, unless you're in the SEC, is going to make your argument a lot tougher to get into that playoff game. They won't be in the conference championship game. That's a guarantee if they lose that game. Indiana, I think that's going to be a bit of a look-ahead spot, and you're looking ahead past a Michigan team, national champions last year. Granted, different coach, different players, still blue-collar recruits, blue-blood recruits, blue-chip recruits. Michigan's got it. They got guys in the trenches. I lean Michigan plus 14, but I'm going to go the over here, Dave. What do you got?
You got the over. All right. So here's what I got, Mike. Michigan is not the team of last year, right? They're 5-4 right now. Indiana's 9-0.
That's very true.
Wolverines, they've lost 4 of their last 5. Granted, that Oregon, that's right now the best team in the Big Ten. They lost to Illinois, lost to Washington. The Hoosiers, well, they've done okay, but as we talked earlier, they really haven't played that game yet. But really, when you look at the Big Ten, there's only a handful of teams in the top echelon there, and they haven't played any of them yet. But now they are. But Michigan's got a down year. Michigan's 2-7 against the spread. They're 0-2 away, while Indiana is 8-1 against the spread. Last week, Michigan used Davis Warren by himself as the quarterback. Warren's not been good. I mean, their offense, Mike, Michigan's offense is ranked 116 out of 133. And here's an interesting number for you. Their defense, which is supposed to be their bread and butter, it's 57th now, Mike. I mean, it's kind of steadily dropped as the year's gone on. And granted, Indiana's schedule might not be all that, but, man, they've got the number 2 ranked offense, the number 7th ranked defense, and this Rourke kid is ripping. He is ripping it. Now they're talking about he might be up in New York when they do the Heisman. So he could be there. He's got 2,200 yards, 19 TDs. If they roll through this week and next week, he will be in New York. Mark my words, Mike. Michigan's failed to cover the spread in 4 of the last 5 games. Wolverines have mustered just 11 first downs. 4-13 on third last week against Oregon, just whipped. Indiana excels in passing efficiency, total yards, averaging over 400 yards a game. They are together on this thing, and I'm telling you, Cignetti is not going to look ahead. They're going to look at this game right here. They've got to attack this game. They're going to make this game happen. Give me Indiana to cover the 14 points, Mike.
You want to make a friendly wager about Rourke going to New York?
If he wins the next 2 games, absolutely.
So you want to wait?
That stipulation? Well, I'll make the stipulation now. I'll call it now.
You want to wait? You want to wait till there's 1 game left in the season to decide if he's going to go or not?
No, I'll tell you now. But there's an if. He's got to win the next 2 games. I'm just saying he's on the up. All I said was he's on the upward trend, Mike. He's on the trend.
All right.
Trend
That's
line.
fair.
All right.
That's fair.
On the trend line. All right. Let's do the last game, Mike. Let's go to the SEC. Let's go to that team that got a little scared last week when the Gators came down there to Jayville. So we got the Bulldogs of Georgia. They're favored by 2.5. Going to Ole Miss. They're in Oxford, Mississippi. They're going to fight the mighty Lane Train. Over under is 55. So dogs come in 7-1. Ole Miss 7-2. A must win, or they are done. Georgia's only lost to Bama at this point. Big wins over Texas, and they beat my Gators last week. Ole Miss big win last week at Arkansas.
Is that a
They
big win?
lost to LSU. Huh? They beat Arkansas. Yeah, that's their big win.
I don't know.
Um,
I was talking about the Gators.
oh yeah. What about us? Like it's a meaningful loss? No, it's not. Um,
No, no.
no. UGA 2-6 against the spread. Ole Miss 6-3 against the spread. But most of those spreads for UGA have been very large spreads. We're only looking at 2.5 points here, so keep that in mind. Beck's had some issues, the quarterback for Georgia. He's had some serious issues. 3 interceptions against the Gators, 3 interceptions against Texas, and 2 the week before. So he's tossing a lot to the other team, which could be an issue. Georgia also lost their starting running back, ETN, the trader. He's out now with some rib issues. Frazier is going to be their running back. I'll be honest with you, he's better than ETN. Jackson Dart coming in over 3,000 yards, passing 21 touchdowns and only 3 interceptions, Mike. Dart's also run for 354 and 3 TDs. They don't have much of a running game. You know, they lost Junkin up to Ohio State, so the running game's and their lead running back's out right now. Ole Miss has lost each of the last 11 games as an underdog against top 5 AP-ranked teams. Ole Miss comes into this game potentially facing, like we said, a must-win situation to get in the playoffs and to go anywhere. I don't think the Ole Miss defense is going to be able to keep up with the Georgia offense. Granted, you know, Beck's had some issues. I think it's going to be a little too much for him. I also think Ole Miss, you know, or Georgia's going to be just as desperate in this situation. They're going to want to bounce back from last week. And if Georgia were to lose, then obviously they're going to probably miss out on the SEC championship game. So I think it's a must-win for the Dogs here. And I think this 2.5 points is enough to get by. I think they could win by 3 and get out of there, you know, and I think that's kind of where it is. So give me the Dogs in the money line, Mike. What do you think?
All right, Dogs in the money line. I don't know. I don't know about this one. Ultimately, I do think Georgia will pull it out. They're a second-half team. They've proved it time and time again under Kirby Smart. He gives some fiery halftime speeches for sure. I'm looking at Ole Miss on this one, and I'm looking at them in the first half here, Dave, for the reasons that I just mentioned. Georgia is a second-half team. I think Ole Miss plus 0.5 is the spread for their first half spread. I think they get that. I think it could be tied, maybe 10-10 going into half, something like that. Something to note for Ole Miss, you mentioned ETN not playing for Georgia. Also, you're a hater for that, okay? That man is going to play on Sundays, and he is damn good. You just mad he's not suited up in blue and orange anymore.
Traitor, hater.
He is out, like you mentioned. But for Ole Miss, their starting running back, Henry Parrish, the transfer from Miami, he is also going to be out for this game. And he is, when I say leading rusher, the next guy, Henry Parrish has over 3 times as many rushing attempts than his backup. He has 10 touchdowns. Backup has 3. Henry Parrish has been a huge addition back to this Ole Miss offense. He originally transferred from Ole Miss to Miami. Depth chart got a little out of hand for him. He transferred back to Ole Miss. He's a starter there. That's what he wanted. He's succeeding. Good for him. He's out for this one, though. That's a problem for Ole Miss. The thing that I worry about with my play is they're going to need a running game. If you let Georgia stack the box, shut down that running game, force Jackson Dart to throw. Granted, Jackson Dart's a great quarterback. could be potential issues. I think that's why they're a second half team. They make those adjustments. I think they ultimately win this game. But Carson Beck, man, whoa. I don't know if it was he's looking ahead to Tennessee. I don't know if it's because last week he went home to Jacksonville, so he was trying to play superhero mode. But it wasn't just last week. This guy has not looked like the quarterback that has led the Bulldogs in years past at all. Completion percentage is way down. It looks like he's trying to do too much. It looks like he can't see. Maybe he needs LASIK like Jameis Winston got. Maybe that's his problem. I have no idea. But, man, he does not look like the same quarterback that was a potential first-round draft pick going into this season. I think it's going to be on him. You know, if he comes to play, Georgia's going to have a great day. The defense is going to show up. We know this. If he does not come to play, if he makes stupid errors, bad turnovers, Georgia 3 and outs, they're not able to move the ball, hold time of possession, Lane Kiffin will find a way to score on this Georgia defense. He is an offensive mastermind. I worry about the defense holding up long term, but if Carson Beck struggles, Georgia ain't going nowhere. Nowhere. I don't care who's running that ball for them. If they can't throw it, it's a problem. So I'm looking at Ole Miss first half plus the half point. But I do like the pick of yours for Georgia to win the game. I think ultimately that's how it is.
Yeah, and here's my gut on Beck. I think he does not have the receivers he's had the last couple of years. I think he's trying to force it too much.
That's fair.
And they got there's some dropping ass, you know what, man. Arian Smith can't hold on to the ball for shit. And ask Navarsky about that. I guarantee you. Go ahead and comment. He's a dropsy. And I think he's trying to force it too much. I think if the guy just chills, you know, like he does in the second half, just chill out, he can make it happen. I mean, one of the things he was doing in our game was the big success he had was just dropping it over the middle between our linebackers and our cover two and having no issue. It's when he tried to go a little further or on either side, he had trouble. So I think he needs just to chill out and don't drop that ball into double coverage and so forth. So and probably stay away from Arian Smith. But, you know, I think he's just forcing it too much. So and had you listened to Mike on the Georgia-Florida game, he told you to bet in favor of Florida as he's doing here on Ole Miss because Georgia doesn't play well first half. He was totally right. We were up by 10 points, you know, at one time at the beginning of that game. So it's definitely a good call, I think, what you're saying here, Mike. So I totally agree. But and again, I ultimately believe that Georgia can win by at least 3 here, but we'll see. Should be interesting, without a doubt.
I also do just want to throw in there for my conspiracy theorists, okay? Grab your tinfoil hat and throw it on, all right? You heard of the Kardashian curse, okay? I present to you, this may be the first time, all right? I'm not gonna take credit for it. Maybe the first time this is mentioned. Have you heard of the Cavender curse here at Gator Dave? Do you know who the Cavender twins are?
The Cavender twins are they volleyball or basketball?
Basketball.
Female players that played.
They are female. I think that's what they identify
LSU.
as.
Yes. Did they play for LSU or Miami? Who did they play for? Damn.
Miami.
Okay.
Miami.
They got
so
all
anyway,
that NIL money, right?
So they took a year off. They got that NIL money. They thought they were going to go do some WWE, be superstars, movie, whatever, right?
Right.
One of them starts dating Jake Ferguson, the tight end for the Dallas Cowboys. Jake Ferguson had a season-ending injury. This new one, the other one, dating Carson Beck now.
Oh, that's right.
Carson Beck's been a bit ass. if we're being blunt. Okay? You know what might be going on in old Carson Beck's noggin? His girlfriend is at Miami with money, and she's a celebrity. Yeah, I'd probably be a little stressed out about that too, Carson Beck, but you probably should be focusing on Ole Miss this week and not what your girlfriend's posting on Instagram, brother. Get right, Carson. Ole Miss, first half. Book it. Book it. Cavender curse. Hashtag.
Good call. Hey, and let's see. Gators going down to get their butts spanked in Texas and in Austin. 12 o'clock game. They should get whooped by about 3 touchdowns.
You sound excited for that whooping.
We're playing our walk-on quarterback, freshman, redshirt freshman quarterback. I mean, pretty excited about that game. Yeah. That's why you don't see it anywhere here, Mike. So. Yeah, no confidence.
Hey.
But Lagway might be back at least, Ian, by the FSU game. Hope he's at least back by that one, baby.
I like it.
Plug to you.
Yeah, Miami, we're playing Georgia Tech this week. At Georgia Tech. I'll be at the game. Drop a comment down low if you're going to be there. What is that?
Number 4, baby. Number 4 in the land.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we are. Thank you for that. Thank you. I didn't know what you were gesturing with that. I thought you were throwing up gang signs on me, dude. We need get back against this Georgia Tech team after last year. Everybody knows how Georgia Tech won that game last year. Ended Miami's undefeated season last year in that game. And guess what, folks? We're undefeated again. Playing Georgia Tech. We are favored by 11, and it scares the you-know-what out of me. But I will be there. It's a 12 o'clock game, so it shouldn't be too cold, which is awesome because usually those games are freezing and they're at night. Novoski's been there with me for a couple. He can attest to the freezing weather that we had to deal with. But go Canes. We're going to get it done. We're going to stay undefeated. We're going to move up in the rankings because, hey, maybe there's a little upset this week that could happen. Just saying. Keep it in mind. Go Canes. We get it done. Dave, anything else you want to say?
No Haynes King for Georgia Tech. So
That's iffy. I think he still might play. I think he still might play. Haynes King is nice. All right, Haynes King is a complete game changer if he plays.
Absolutely.
Complete game changer.
Absolutely.
So yeah, for sure.
Last bit I got was doubtful at this point, but we'll see how that goes. So. We do want to thank everyone for being on the show today. We had a nice crowd, 12. Oh, just dropped to 11. That's okay. Appreciate everyone watching, everyone liking. Please subscribe, all that cool stuff, and come back and see us next week. Thank you, folks, and go Gators.
Yep. Thank everybody for watching. Thank you for jumping in the chat. Great to hear from you, and we will see you next week.